Welcome to the most authoritative boxing channel here on social media. Ahmed. Today's episode, I shall be previewing the much-awaited bout between Francis the Predictor Ngannou and Antony Joshua. This fight promises to be a very interesting bout by all standards, as both men have power in their hands. So I envision this fight will end up in a knockout for one of the fighters. But before I give you my prediction on the fight, please remember to subscribe to the channel. Press the bell icon, express your views in the comment section, and share this particular video with friends and family. I think that Antony Joshua goes into this fight as clear favorite. I give Antony Joshua a 90% chance of winning this fight, whilst I give Francis Ngannou a 10% chance. Why do I give Francis Ngannou a 10% chance? Francis Ngannou does not have the boxing experience Antony Joshua has. Francis Ngannou has fought just one professional fight in which he bequeathed himself very well against Tyson the Gypsy King Fury, who is also the WBC heavyweight champion of the world. He is regarded as the #1 heavyweight, and that fight with Tyson Fury was a very cagey one. It did not go as many, including myself, anticipate it would go, because Francis Ngannou really came into this particular fight to really put it on Tyson the Gypsy King Fury, and he really did that by knocking Tyson the Gypsy King Fury down in the 3rd round, and with a comeback in the 8th round, putting pressure on Tyson the Gypsy King Fury. If that kind of pressure is exerted on Antony Joshua, how would Antony Joshua fumble, or how would Antony Joshua react to that? I think that Antony Joshua has enough ring experience, being a former Olympic gold medalist, being a national champion, and then being a former unified heavyweight champion. I think that Antony Joshua has seen or has boxed enough style in order to deal with the pressure of Francis Ngannou. But one thing Antony Joshua has not experienced in the ring as compared to Francis Ngannou is that he has not been in the ring with someone who is stronger than him. Francis Ngannou obviously looks stronger than Antony Joshua. We can't say for sure until both men step in the ring, but Francis Ngannou is a very strong individual. He is built like a tank that is coming to seek and destroy, and he is coming into this fight with so much confidence behind him because of the performance he put up against Tyson the Gypsy King Fury. And besides that, this is his 2nd successive campaign as a boxer, and sparring. The more you do something, the better you get at it. So the way he performed against Tyson the Gypsy King Fury, many are expecting him to put in a better performance, because these are 2 successive camps back to back. So you will see lots of improvement from Francis Ngannou, and I anticipate that. But I think that the power punch of Antony Joshua would keep Francis Ngannou decent and jittery in this particular fight. Antony Joshua has much punching power than Tyson the Gypsy King Fury for sure, because of the delivery of Tyson the Gypsy King Fury. He throws the throwaway jab, then he lands the straight right. But Antony Joshua is different these days. He lands the straight power jab, then he follows up with the right hand. And Antony Joshua has adopted a style that since he started training with Derrick James, now he is able to duck a punch and still stay in the pocket. He ducks the punch, stay in the pocket, and instead of him going to the head, he throws a combination to the body, and that has been effective for Antony Joshua against Jermaine Franklin, against Robert Elenius, and against Otu Wallen. So these are the new integration Antony Joshua has added to his game. But one thing Antony Joshua does, and it's a mistake when he does that, is that he leaves his head in the line, on the line. And Francis Ngannou can easily take advantage of that, because he has enough power punch that can wobble or knock out Antony Joshua. So if Antony Joshua will still stay in the pocket, duck the punch, and throw the 1-2, I think Antony Joshua must take his head off the middle line, and that would cause a lot of problem for Francis Ngannou, especially if Antony Joshua starts going to the body early. And another thing Antony Joshua has also integrated in his game these days is that he goes to the body more often than he used to. You could see him landing jabs to the body. Unlike first, he often land the jabs to the head. But these days, Antony AJ Joshua focuses on the body too, and that may go a long way to help Antony AJ Joshua in this particular fight. But Francis Ngannou also does one mistake that Antony AJ Joshua can take a great advantage of, and that is leaning into punch. And when you are leaning into punch, most often your feet is off the ground. And when your feet is off the ground, it is easier for your opponent to score a knockdown or a knockout because your weight is not behind you or your weight is not beneath you. So immediately you lean in, Antony AJ Joshua can counter Francis Ngannou. So if Francis Ngannou and his team Cooper, his trainer Cooper, are working in the gym, they should prevent Francis Ngannou from leaning in. But if you are preventing Francis Ngannou from leaning in, that means you are taking the fighting spirit out of Francis Ngannou, because Francis Ngannou is not the best of boxers. He is a fighter, and that is what he should do. Because I see Antony AJ Joshua coming into this particular fight in order to box the head off of Francis Ngannou and take him out in the middle to late rounds. So Francis Ngannou leaning in would be an advantage for him, and it would also be a disadvantage for him. Because when he leans in, he can also land punches of his own. If Antony AJ Joshua is not able to duck the punch or move out of his way, he can be able to land an effective punch, scoring punch that can get Antony AJ Joshua very honest of his power. But if he leans into, Antony AJ Joshua can counter him and take advantage of him. So this fight can play out a lot of ways, but this is how I envision the fight of turning out. I think that the first 2 rounds will straightly go for Antony AJ Joshua boxing on the back foot, trying to find his range with his jab and stay off the ropes, whilst Francis Ngannou would keep applying the pressure but would gas out in the first 5 rounds. Yes, I see Francis Ngannou gassing out in the first 5 rounds because the work and the movement of Antony AJ Joshua, who obviously has the better footworks than Francis Ngannou, would be at the advantage. Because the only advantage I can see Francis Ngannou having in this particular fight, besides rushing in, is that he is better in the clinch because he is stronger and he has a very good wrestling background. He can grab Antony AJ Joshua and maneuver Antony AJ Joshua, and whilst maneuvering Antony AJ Joshua, he can quickly land a punch of his own. But Antony AJ Joshua is faster than Francis Ngannou. So all those things would come in. The jab of Antony AJ Joshua that would keep Francis Ngannou honest in the first 3 rounds or first 2 rounds would make him hesitant and not make Francis Ngannou able to fight his fight. But Francis Ngannou, being a very determined individual, looking at his background, coming from Cameroon down to France, and he is now a Hollywood star, you could see that you can't write this man off. He is in for the win and he will do anything to win. So AJ Joshua must be very, very patient in this fight. See this fight go through its gears, and the knockout will come naturally, because Francis Ngannou has just gone one 10-round fight in him. And if Antony AJ Joshua keeps in the pocket, jabs to the body, jabs to the head, set traps like he did against Otto Wallen with the feinting of the leg, I think that it would be loads of problem for Francis Ngannou. And I believe that Antony AJ Joshua, after watching both men, I think Antony AJ Joshua knocks out Francis Ngannou in the 8th round. Yes, Antony AJ Joshua would knock out Francis Ngannou in the 8th round, and it will be a very, very spectacular knockout, which would make a statement, putting pressure on Tyson the Gypsy King Fury to accept the Antony AJ Joshua fight next, if he's able to overcome Alexander the Cat Usyk, because that fight is a very, very beautiful fight. It has been in the waiting for the past 7-8 years, because the belts that Antony Joshua had were belts that, quote and unquote, belonged to Tyson the Gypsy King Fury, and he did not lose those belts in the ring. So it would be like we are fighting for ultimate supremacy as the best heavyweight in the world. I think that this fight would be a very interesting one, and I'm putting all my chips on Antony Joshua to secure a round 8 knockout against Francis Ngannou. I think Antony Joshua has watched enough tapes of Francis Ngannou for him to overcome. Unlike Fury, who did not have any idea of how Francis Ngannou would turn up, especially if Francis Ngannou would switch southpaw. That would be a great advantage to Antony Joshua, because Antony Joshua in his last five fights has boxed 2 southpaws 3 times. So he has even boxed a very high IQ southpaw, being Alexander Usyk, and a B- level in Otto Wale, and he has prevailed but failed against Alexander Usyk. And with with Francis Ngannou not being a natural southpaw, I think Antony Joshua would chop him off if he switches southpaw in this particular fight. This is my take. Antony Joshua, round 8, spectacular knockout. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, press the bell icon, express your views in the comment section, and share this particular video with friends and family. Remember, this fight can also be dubbed Nigeria versus Cameroon.